If you want to have healthy relationships with men who provide for you, who protect you, who treat you like a queen, and if you want to have a business and a life where you attract things more to you instead of having to hustle so much for them, then this video is for you, because I'm going to be teaching you how to be more feminine based on polarity practices, because this is the key to a woman unlocking her magnetism and all her desires. And unfortunately for most women, they don't even know about this, but I'm gonna put you on game today when it comes to this feminine energy stuff. So this video is your invitation to come back to that feminine energy, not just aesthetically, because that's a problem. That's like surface level basic. We're going to talk about how to do it energetically by using powerful polarity principles to help you get what you want. Hi, my name is Amanda Bello. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. We talk about nervous system regulation. We talk about polarity principles. We talk about prosperity consciousness. We call out culty new age spirituality bullshit for what it is. So if you are interested in that, make sure to subscribe So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. I have a goal of getting a video out a day. I'm trying to keep up with all the questions that have been coming in, and wait until I start an Instagram, because I'm going to get crazy questions on Instagram. So I'm trying to get through all these first before I start the Instagram, because I know what's going to happen. And as always, I have resources available below. The two that make the most sense for this particular video is our free Enhance Your Feminine Energy Guide, which you can grab for free below. That will also add you to our email list, where you're going to get lots of fun goodies over the next few days, including coupon codes to some of our master classes and courses. You'll also be the first to know when there's a new video out or a new program out. And the other one is a new master class that I just did, which goes a lot deeper into these polarity dynamics between masculine and feminine energy, how to integrate them within you so you can manifest what it is that you desire. This is a short little thing. I go really into detail in that masterclass, and you can grab that below. All right, so in this video, we're going to be talking, explain what feminine energy is from the lens of polarity, right? We're not going to be talking about do your nails and here's how you do your makeup and wear dresses. Like, that's all basic level 1 stuff. We're not going to be talking about self-care, right? Because again, that's just basic hygiene. We don't need to go that deep into it. And in addition to that, you could have a woman with jeans and a t-shirt who oozes feminine energy and magnetism. So none of that stuff even really matters that much, or at least not as much as people make it seem. It's all performative. We're talking about the inside stuff when it comes to polarity. I'm also going to share 7 embodied ways that you can reconnect with your feminine. And again, if you want to go deeper on these things, make sure to get that masterclass below, because I'm going to be explaining a lot of stuff there that I do not have time to go into in this video right here. And I'm going to invite you into a new way of relating to yourself, to other people, to love, to money, to everything you desire. So let's get into it. So let's talk about feminine energy in polarity. So feminine does not equal gender. I've said this before, but it bears repeating in case anybody here is new. Hi, welcome if you are new. Now, it's about universal polarity. It's about universal principles and universal law. Now, if you were to explain to most women what feminine energy is, and if they're open to listening to it, because I know particularly in the West, we are all jacked up with this right now, but if she's open to listening to it and she really kind of feels within herself and feels into it, most women would say that they feel more comfortable, more at ease, or would desire more of a life that has more of the feminine energy. So when it has nothing to do with gender, the majority of women do relate to this, right? And that's where they feel good, because the majority of women do have a feminine essence at their core. So feminine is emotion, it's creativity, it's sensuality, and it's receptivity, okay? That's a huge thing that a lot of women need to work on. And polarity is basically that dance and the attraction between the masculine, which oftentimes creates structure, protection, provision, containment, and the feminine, which is a lot more of the flow and the creativity and those kinds of principles. It's kind of like you have a river and you have the river banks. The feminine is the river, the masculine is the river banks. Okay, that's kind of a way to look at it. And then to attract masculine energy, which a lot of you ask me about, you're like, how do I get my husband to start turning around, or how do I attract a provider man? You have to get into your feminine energy. If you want to do well on social media, and I gotta say this must be a difference from this business and previous businesses, is you have to learn how to become very magnetic, right? And I was able to do it before in my previous business just by the nature that I'm a woman. Just by the nature that you're a woman, you already have these things. You just may not be aware of it or how to use it. But now it's actually intentional. So here are 7 ways that you can embody more feminine energy. Number 1 is you want to embody, not analyze. I've said in previous videos that sometimes with this feminine energy stuff, it becomes very performative and a lot of you get stuck in your heads. That's because we have to learn how to bring it back down into our bodies. So feminine energy, it lives in the body, not in the mind, right? So the masculine is the mind, the feminine is the body. And a lot of women are running around out here right now living from the neck up because they're overstimulated. And there's lots of reasons why they're overstimulated right now. They're overwhelmed and they're overburdened. So we have to learn how to bring this back down and start feeling safety in our bodies. And the thing is that at first, when you start bringing things down into your body and out of your head, it may not feel safe. So that's where a lot of the nervous system regulation stuff comes in. For that, I recommend checking out the Hustle to Harmony masterclass, where I go a lot deeper into nervous system regulation and the 4-step manifestation process that I use that takes this stuff into account, because in there I talk about a practice that I use to start feeling safe in my body with the things I want to manifest so that I do not sabotage them. So very important. I would definitely go check that one out if you are interested. And the thing is that you want to start learning how to get out of there's lots of ways to get out of your head: movement, dance, breath. Because the reality is when you're very flowy, you're very magnetic, right? And the truth is you need both flow and structure. But if you're watching this video, chances are that you might be overstructured and overburdened. So we got to bring in more of that creative flow and that intuition. So one of the things that you can do right now is you can pause this video for 30 seconds. You can actually breathe into your hips and move in hip circles or figure 8s and just see how that feels in your body, because a lot of us have a lot of very stuck energy like right in that hip area. So do that, right? Move your hips in circles or figure 8s, breathe into it and see how you feel. If you feel like super uncomfortable, number 1, that's normal. But if you start feeling like kind of like, oh, I want to get back in my head, we need to start doing some nervous system regulation work. So definitely check out Hustle to Harmony masterclass below. Okay. Next thing you want to learn how to do is you want to learn how to open the heart area, right? You want to practice being seen even when it's vulnerable. So let's say you're already in a relationship. One of the ways in which you can do that with your husband is you can actually stare into each other's eyes. You can let him penetrate your eyes with his eyes, and you have to sit there and receive it and be seen. You would be surprised at how many women feel incredibly uncomfortable. One of the things my husband mentioned to me when we had first started dating was one of the things that he noticed about me was that when he gazed at me, I could take it. Like I wouldn't shy away, I wouldn't look away, I wouldn't do one of these, I wouldn't be like, why are you looking at me? That's what most women do. I did not do that. And that got my husband's attention, because when my husband wants to look into my eyes, I let him do it. So that's one of the, and I receive it, right? I receive that penetration. Most women are not able to do it. So do that as a test and see how you feel. And again, right, if you're like, then maybe you need some nervous system regulation work. So Hustle to Harmony masterclass below. The other thing you want to learn how to do is you want to speak from your feelings, right? Not defense. So what do most of us do, myself included? I have to get better at this, right? We want to defend ourselves immediately when something's wrong, or when we feel like we've been wronged in some way, or our husband didn't do something that we wanted him to do. We want to blame him and blah, 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 blah. I saw all the women in my life do this until I realized that didn't work. Now, of course, I didn't know what the alternative to that was, right? Until I started studying this stuff, which is why it's so important to study it. Because some of us may have grown up in environments where we saw that and we know that it doesn't work and we don't want it, but we may not know what the alternative is. And that's why you subscribe to YouTube channels like this. So thank you very much. So if you feel upset about something, you could say, hey, I feel hurt, right? You don't have to go into, you didn't do this, and blah, 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 blah. It's like the women who go around saying, like, I want a man with 6 figures and a provider, but they're so angry when they say it that it just makes a man feel like, okay, you must not get treated well by men, right? And it's actually a red flag. Where if they just said something along the lines of like, you know what, it feels really good to me when the man is the provider. Do you see the difference between like demanding it and then just speaking from how you feel? Totally different. And men, masculine men specifically, respond more to how you feel. Okay. And then also you want to invite intimacy through honesty. A lot of women have like, a lot of people, but we're talking about women right now, have very stuck throat chakras because they're used to putting their needs behind everybody else's. They don't speak up. They don't say what they want. A lot of times, in general, people like do not know how to communicate. So I'm going to have to do some videos on communication and feminine communication specifically. Number 1, to teach you guys, and number 2, to give myself also. I learn from my own, like, when I do these videos, it's not just for you guys, it's also for me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, remember that thing and remember this thing, because I'm also human and I screw up all the time. So these are also very helpful for me. So thank you for giving me that opportunity and space, not just to teach you, but also give myself, I'm thinking of the Spanish word, a repaso, a review of these things for myself so I don't forget. So here's another way, right? Instead of saying, you never call me, right? When you're upset with somebody, I feel disconnected and I miss your presence, right? If I'm with my husband works very hard. He's the provider for this family. He's making sure we're protecting us. Lately, he's been working super, super hard, and we were spending less time together. And I went to him and I was like, I miss you. Like I miss you. It wasn't like you never spend any time with me. You're always working, right? Which my husband actually also said that was a problem in his previous relationships with women, is that he would go work. Why are men working? To provide for you, ladies. Don't forget that. A lot of you forget that. And they would complain and be like, why are you working so much? Why are you not paying attention to me? Why are you not doing this? I don't do any of that. I'm just like, I miss you. Like, I know you're working really hard and I really appreciate it. You're such a provider. I feel so good when you provide. I just wanted to let you know I miss you. You see the difference of what people do? And to him, that was something that really stood out to him because he's very ambitious. And I've heard this from other high achieving men too. Like before I met my husband, I was around a lot of high achieving men because I had a lot of male mentors in my previous businesses, and that is something that they would always complain about. They're like, I'm here busting my ass for these women and they don't even appreciate it. They're just always complaining about how I don't spend time with them and I don't pay attention to them. So instead of like complaining about everything, just express your desires and your feelings, and the men will respond to it in a totally different way. Okay, very important, that one. Next thing you want to do, God knows we all need help with this one, right? Is let go of control, right? So you want to learn how to surrender, and surrender does not mean weakness. A lot of people think surrender means you're a doormat. No, this means trust. First, you trust God. Then you go trust a man. That's the way that I see it, because if you trust God, you're going to end up with the right dude, right? And then you're able to trust him because you picked the right dude. But for me, I had to trust God first, and I had to surrender to the universe, or whatever you want to call it. I had to learn to surrender and let my old life fall apart so I could step into the new life I have now, where I have a provider husband, where I have more creative energy than I've ever had before, where I've got money coming in on autopilot in ways that I've never done it before, where social media on 2 different channels is popping off, both my husband's and mine is popping off on social media. I never had that before. I always had to grind my butt off in order to get what it is that I desired, but I had to surrender and let my old life go so I could step into the new life. And a lot of people have a hard time doing that because they want to control, they want to know everything. And the reality is, like, we're so tiny. Like, we're so teeny weeny. We're like little specks in the universe, and at the same time, we're very expansive like the universe. But we take ourselves too damn seriously, and we want to have control all the time, and we have to learn to let that go. You want to learn to release the urge to micromanage, plan, or lead in relationships, right? Now, some planning is required, okay? Like, I had to sit with my husband this morning and be like, what does our week look like this week? So we could do what we each needed to do in our domains. that we are in charge of. But after that, like it's done. It's done. It wasn't even like a long conversation. I mean, he caught me going into micromanager mode, and he's like, we could do this in 45 seconds. And he was right. We totally could have done it in 45 seconds. So we have to learn to release that urge to micromanage or plan or lead in relationships. Women, when you in your feminine essence and you attract a masculine man, you're not even going to need to lead in relationships because he's just going to do it. He's literally just going to do it. Okay. And then you let life or your partner take the lead sometimes, right? Take his leadership. Otherwise, like, and this is something I've had to work on again because I just didn't have examples of what this looked like, and I've had to really study this, which is why I'm now sharing it with my sisters, because the chances are that you also did not learn about these things, which is like I've had to learn to surrender to my husband's leadership. Probably the biggest thing I did was move to another country, and he was right. But with time, right, I've learned to trust him, and I question it less. I want to micromanage it less, but I had to be willing to micromanage less and trust him in situations where he was taking the lead. And now I obviously have more evidence that I can trust more and more and more, but I had to trust before I had the evidence, if that makes sense. Now you might ask yourself, okay, well, how can I trust someone I don't know? My husband and I started off as friends, and the first thing that I noticed was the fact that he was very responsible. He was always moving toward me. He was always very responsible, and he always did what he said he was going to do. That was an issue I had with men. Up until that point, they never were that reliable. That's the word I was looking for. They were never that reliable. So before my husband and I even started dating, I already knew he was reliable. That was already one of the green flags I had seen in him, which made it a lot easier because masculine men do what they say they're going to do. They live in integrity. So that's how you will know, right? If you've got a dude who's doing what he says he's going to do, that's a green flag, and then it's easier to trust before you have all this experience, right? Next thing you want to learn how to do is you want to learn how to feel everything fully, right? You want to learn how to do emotional expression, not drama. And a few minutes ago when I was talking about how to express your feelings, that's what I mean, right? Being like, you never call me, blah, 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 you spend too much time working. Why don't you spend time with... That's drama, okay? Masculine men do not like drama because they're purpose-driven and drama takes them away from their purpose, okay? Emotional expression, right, is like, I miss you, right? I feel disconnected. Stuff like that, right? Do you see the difference? It's totally different. One is expressing your emotions. The other one is causing a bunch of chaos. The feminine is honest, raw, and present without needing to be okay. Like, we're messy, okay? Now, we're not dramatic, but we do feel a lot more things, and it could be a little bit more messy, and that's why the masculine provides containment. Remember, the feminine is the river, the masculine is the river banks. Without the river banks, we're just like whoosh, all over the place. So my husband and I have a saying that I'm the water, so I have the emotions, I have the feelings, I have the crazy creative ideas, right? And he's the cup, right, that contains the water and helps execute, if that metaphor helps you understand it. Because without the cup, what happens? The water just spills all over the place, right? And without the water, the masculine, like, what is he holding? Nothing. He's not doing anything, right? So that's important to note as well, right? So some of the things that you can do is you can use journaling or movement to let emotional waves move through you. I know when I'm really upset, I will go to my journal and I will let the wave move through me, and after 5 minutes of angry journaling, I'm good. I'm fine. It's moved through me. I'm over it. I've already forgotten about it because I processed it and I've moved on to the next thing. You also want to learn how to cultivate sensuality and pleasure in every single area of your life, ladies, okay? So pleasure brings you back into the moment, and part of the pleasure is actually the realm of the feminine, right? So if you got dudes out here like Mr. Aubrey Marcus, because he's giving us a masterclass on what to avoid, always seeking pleasure and its pleasure principle, and the dude's going, he's an immature feminized man. He has not grown up. Because men, when it comes to pleasure, have to learn discipline. And women, when it comes to pleasure, we have to learn how to receive it. Okay? I'm going to say that again. When it comes to pleasure, men need to learn discipline. And when it comes to pleasure, women need to learn how to receive it. okay? So pleasure brings you back into that moment. What are some of the ways that you can do pleasure? When I'm cooking or preparing a meal for my family, I will put nice like cottage music or jazz music or something that kind of like sets the mood, things like that. Or when I'm editing videos, I will play some music in the background that sets the mood. I might light a candle. When I'm making the food, for some reason making food really grounds me, especially if I'm like dealing with vegetables and stuff, right? So I'll slow down in that moment because I know that slowness is sacred. I've done other videos on slow living and how it can really benefit the feminine and kind of be like a nervous system reset for a feminine woman. All right, next thing, number 6 is receiving. This is huge because a lot of women really struggle with this, right? Feminine energy is about receiving without guilt. You let people help you. You say thank you instead of I've got it. If someone compliments you, you say thank you. If someone gives you a gift, you say thank you. You don't always got to throw it back at people as if, they're lying or they're frauds or they must be crazy or, oh, this whole thing. Like, we don't have to be doing that. We have to learn how to receive without guilt. And one of the ways in which we can do that is through my divine masculine experiment. I've said this story over and over again. When I was ready to manifest my husband a few years ago, I said that I was going to receive from the divine masculine in any way that it showed up. If it was a colleague helping me with a work problem, thank you. If it was the guy at the bakery working behind the counter who wanted to give me a free muffin, thank you. If it was a male friend of mine who wanted to take me out for dinner, thank you. If my dad wanted to solve something for me, thank you. If my brother wanted to solve something for me, thank you. And I just practiced receiving from the masculine, and I got pretty good at it. And in 4 months, manifested my husband. And my husband's constantly giving me stuff because I receive it so well that he wants to give me more. That's what he wants to do because men play for points. Okay. And the final thing, right, is you want to create space for polarity, right? So polarity means there's a difference, right? There's a difference between the masculine and there's a difference between the feminine, right? That difference, particularly in relationships, is what creates the spark. It's what creates whoosh, like two magnets. So what you want to do is you want to learn to stop leading in your relationship if you desire to feel the masculine. If you desire to feel the masculine, you got to lean back into the feminine. Here's a prime example of how women screw this one up. So a lot of times women will ask their husbands to do something. They don't do it in the first 5 minutes or in the timely fashion or when the woman wanted it done. They either end up nagging him or they end up doing it themselves. So to a man who plays for points, if he's not getting points, he's just not going to do it, right? So if you do that over and over and over and over again, you basically emasculate him and train him that you got it, you don't need his help. He's not going to do anything else for you. He's not going to give to you, none of that stuff. And then you're going to get mad about it, and then it's just going to be this vicious cycle, right? You have to learn how to let yourself be instead of always doing. And I know this is really hard, especially for those of us in Western culture, and especially those of us who are high achievers, because we're always doing something, we're always up to something, we always want to try something, experiment something new, and there's nothing wrong with that. The part that comes into a problem is when we're doing those things to get some sort of validation from other people, or we're running away from shame. That's very different than doing stuff because it's fun, right? Do you see the difference in how that works? Right? So you want to let yourself be instead of always doing. I will use this video as an example. In previous businesses, I got on YouTube because I'm like, that's how I'm going to make money, right? That's how I'm going to make money. That's how I'm going to get this thing going. Because that's how I'm going to be able to travel all over the world and money just comes to me and blah, 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 blah. Like I was like really in it in my head. And I grinded and I grinded and I grinded and I could just never get the damn thing to work, right? Even if I followed all the instructions, even if I followed all the specific things to a T, I just never got it to work in my main business, not in the way that I needed to. Anyway, when my husband and I got together and I got this download to start a relocation business, that's a whole other story. And then this YouTube channel was another download. Did I have a little bit of that? Yeah, right? Because I'm a business person. At the end of the day, I've been in business 15 years. I know a good idea when I see one. But it wasn't the driving force. The driving force was, this will be fun. I'm going to set it up so that it could be a business if it turns into a business, but ultimately I'm doing this for fun. And I swear to you, we've never had social medias grow so fast, right? Because I was being instead of doing, right? I am doing this today, doing these videos today, but it doesn't feel like a grind like it did in my past business. This is actually just really fun in a lot of ways. Or when I help my husband with social media in his business, because he can't do it all. So, and I'm really fast and I'm really good at it. It's just fun. It's just fun. And that's why it's grown so quickly. There's no like, oh, I needed to do this. There's a little bit of that. There's some structure and there's some strategy. But the main strategy for me is joy, pleasure, fun, and I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to. And when you come from that perspective, oh man, everything starts to change. Everything starts to shift. It can be a little trippy for your brain, especially when you've been accustomed to survival mode for so long, like so many of us have. So you really have to understand nervous system regulation. And I have a 4-step process that I walk through for that in the Hustle to Harmony Masterclass. So make sure to grab that below, because you will start to do things in a different way and your nervous system is going to freak out, right? So Hustle to Harmony, grab that below so that you don't sabotage and you can actually really crystallize these manifestations and these new beliefs and these new things that you are trying to do in your life. And then finally, right, here's the quick summary. Feminine energy is not performative. It's embodied. Okay? It's in your nervous system. It's in your energy. It's in your physical body. It is who you are, not what you are doing. The next thing is you become naturally magnetic when you're in flow, pleasure, and presence. This is not about being passive, right? It's about being very powerful through softness. I always say this, like women have no idea the amount of power that they actually have. If they did, they would not be in most of the situations that they were in. Feminism would not have gotten to this 4th wave craziness that we're seeing right now. We would not see this breakdown in relationships like we're seeing, and this world wouldn't be as messy as it is. I believe it's because women have no idea how powerful and how influential they actually are to the people around them. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I want to know which of these 7 practices are you most excited to try. Let me know in the comments below. And once again, here are all the resources for those of you who want to go deeper. Number 1, our free Enhance Your Feminine Energy Guide. It's free and you'll get added to our email list and you'll get a bunch of goodies. In the email list, you'll also be the first to know about new stuff we've got coming out. Next one is our masterclass on masculine and feminine polarity. So really teaching these principles and going really deep and applying them to different areas of our lives, and also how to integrate it within us so that we can manifest what it is that we desire. You will find that below as well. Our Hustle to Harmony Masterclass. In the Hustle to Harmony Masterclass, I talk a lot more about nervous system regulation and getting your brain and your body on board with what the changes that you're trying to make, the new things that you're trying to manifest. You're going to see me actually group coaching people in that one with their goals and their desires. So you can grab all of those below. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I'll catch you on the next one.